What if India's most dangerous weapons aren't the massive tanks you see rolling down Rage Path on Republic Day, or the missiles proudly displayed in military parades, but the ones no one dares to mention? Behind closed doors, in restricted laboratories and hush-hush defense circles, India has been quietly developing tools of warfare so unconventional, so secretive. They sound less like real engineering and more like pages ripped straight from science fiction, whispered about by analysts, shielded from public eyes and rarely acknowledged by officials. These weapons are designed for a future most people aren't ready to imagine. By the end of this video, you'll know about Indian weapons so obscure, they'll leave you questioning what's really possible. When people think of India's defense power, a familiar list comes to mind. Its nuclear arsenal, the supersonic BrahMos missile, or the roaring fleets of Sukhoi and Rafale fighter jets. These headline-grabbing machines dominate news flashes and parade grounds, cementing India's image as a rising military giant. But hidden beneath that steel and spectacle lies another layer, one far less known, yet possibly more unsettling. India has quietly invested in indigenous projects so unconventional, even bizarre, that they don't fit the traditional mold of warfare. And there's a reason for this secrecy. With tense borders shared with China and Pakistan, two nuclear-armed rivals, India's defense planners understand that brute force alone isn't enough. They need surprise assets, weapons that tilt the odds when it matters most. Some of these technologies aren't just tools of defense. They're game changers that could permanently alter the rules of battle. Section 1. Strategic Ghosts. In the world of defense, some weapons are paraded proudly for the world to see. Missiles on trucks, fighter jets roaring through the skies. But India has a different class of weapons, the kind that live in shadows, half rumor, half nightmare. Take the Surya ICBM, a missile so secretive it's often called the Voldemort of Indian weapons, the one that must not be named. Defense whispers suggest it could have a range of 12,000 to 18,000 kilometers. If true, that would put nearly every corner of the planet within reach. Officially, it doesn't exist. Unofficially, its very rumor works as a strategic shield, deterring enemies not by firepower, but by fear of the unknown. Then comes something even stranger. KALI, the Kilo Ampere Linear Injector, dubbed India's death ray, but not in the way movies imagine. This isn't about burning holes through steel. Instead, Kali fires a directed energy beam that fries electronics instantly. Fighter jets, enemy missiles, even satellites, rendered useless, not by explosions, but by silence. No smoke, no flames, just dead machines dropping from the sky. These are not weapons for the battlefield. They are weapons for the mind. Phantoms that whisper to India's rivals, "You don't know what we can unleash." Section 2. Mythology meets modern war. India has a habit of fusing mythology with modern military tech. And nowhere is that clearer than in its lesser-known riot and patrol weapons. Take the Trishul and Vajra systems. On the surface, they look like something out of an ancient epic. Electrified tridents, spiked batons, and shields that can flash blind with high-intensity strobes. Then there's India's grassroots robotics angle. Enter the Exploder Agniastra duo. The Exploder is a small, soldier-driven ground robot designed to race toward enemy positions, carrying explosives in a kamikaze-style attack. Its partner, the Agniastra, is a precision detonation system, ensuring the payload hits exactly when and where it needs to. Unlike conventional drones, these are low-cost, close-range, and adaptable, tools that let Indian forces improvise destruction on the battlefield without risking human lives. What ties all of this together is India's willingness to merge tradition, psychology, and raw ingenuity. Section 3. Drone Evolution. In modern warfare, drones are no longer support tools. They're frontline predators. And India has been quietly engineering some of the most cost-effective and cunning designs. Take the Karga kamikaze drones, for instance. Unlike the billion-dollar fleets of the US or China, these are cheap modular systems designed by Indian startups. Built for flexibility, they can swap between recon mode and suicide strike mode with minimal changes. On the Kashmir front lines, where every shadow in the mountains could hide danger, these drones give soldiers real-time eyes in the sky and the ability to eliminate threats without risking human lives. Then there are the loitering munitions, drones with patience as their deadliest weapon. Systems like Nagastra and the imported but Indian-operated Harap don't just attack. They wait. They hover silently, watching, calculating, and choosing the perfect moment to dive. It's a psychological weapon as much as a physical one, knowing something is circling above you, unseen, deciding your fate. What makes Nagastra especially unique is its ability to abort attacks mid-air. That means it can dive toward a target, gather intelligence, and pull back without detonating. A game-changing advantage in fluid combat zones where clarity matters as much as firepower. Together, these drones mark a shift in India's military thinking. Efficiency over extravagance, adaptability over brute force. In a future where wars are fought less by men and more by machines, these flying hunters are India's silent revolution. Section 4. Precision and smart munitions. If drones are the eyes of modern warfare, then smart munitions are the daggers they guide. India has been quietly perfecting weapons that combine reach, accuracy, and affordability. Take the Garuda glide bomb. With a 100-kilometer range and GPS guidance, this indigenous system turns a simple aircraft into a precision strike platform. Instead of expensive imported missiles, Garuda delivers a homegrown, low-cost alternative that can neutralize enemy bunkers, radar stations, or supply lines without ever crossing hostile airspace. It's budget warfare, without sacrificing punch. But the real leap forward lies in energy weapons. Enter Durga 2, India's directed energy laser system. Imagine Gandalf, but instead of a staff, he wields photons. Mounted on vehicles, Durga 2 is designed to fry drones, missiles, and even incoming artillery shells mid-air. No explosions, no debris, just a focused beam that reduces threats to ashes. This shift matters. Conventional munitions always run out. You can only carry so many missiles or bombs. But a laser weapon? As long as there's power, the shots are effectively limitless. For a country balancing threats on two fronts, Pakistan's surprise strikes and China's drone swarms, this kind of technology isn't a luxury. It's survival. Garuda shows India can fight smart. Durga 2 shows India is preparing for a battlefield where bullets may no longer matter. Together, they hint at a future where precision and light itself reshape the rules of war. Section 5. Ancient India's Deadly Legacy. Long before drones and glide bombs, Indian warriors wielded weapons that bordered on the mythical. The chakram, a razor-sharp throwing disc, could decapitate from a distance. Its aerodynamic design still influences modern shuriken-style gear and frisbee-like riot suppressors. Then came the urumi, the whip sword. Flexible, coiled around the waist like a belt, but in battle it lashed out in whirling arcs, nearly impossible to defend against. Think of it as the medieval ancestor of today's chain-based crowd control tech. And the Vajra Mushti, spiked knuckles forged for brutal hand-to-hand combat, served as a devastating equalizer when swords clashed too close. These weren't just weapons, they were psychological tools designed to terrify and overwhelm. And here's the reminder you should never forget. The deadliest weapons are rarely the ones you see in parades. They're the ones that stay hidden, waiting for the perfect moment. So tell me, which of these weapons shocked you the most? Drop your answer in the comments. I want to know which one gave you chills. And if you crave more dark, untold stories like this, hit subscribe, because next time, it only gets darker.